So today is July 21st, 2022. I just spent the last day in the Psychiatric Research Institute at UAMS in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm sitting here now about to be released from there. And actually not about to be released. They sent me with a bus token and I'm supposed to be able to just go. I informed them of my homelessness. I informed them of, the way that I wasn't able to go back to my mother's house. I tried to call her yesterday to have a conversation to see how she was, if she had actual remorse toward the situation or anything. And she turned around and she blamed me for my brother assaulting me. Then she turned around and said that I tripped, which I did not. I was shoved very, very forcibly, and you saw that through the video. And then she turned around and stated that I hurt his collarbone. He clarified that I hurt his collarbone when he forced himself into me that one time when he headbutted me. I actually still have like a bruise in here. It's inside the jaw. So I'm still sustaining all this trauma. Still, very much pregnant, and they did nothing really to help me with housing aside from giving me lists of places to call in the area, instead of actually the social workers taking it upon themselves to do the calling for me or to try to situate something, knowing that I'm disabled due to my mental health. Instead, they decided that I was supposed to place in more effort, and I thought, well, no, I decided then, because I was voluntarily placed in here, not involuntarily, so I was able to leave at any time. So I asked last night, after being there from approximately 3:30 in the morning until, later in the day, and they came back with those lists, I knew that they weren't going to actually place effort into me individually. So I crumpled up those papers and threw it at them. Yesterday I was in the middle of drawing a picture of a woman, and I left it there for them so that it was a gift from me. And I had only gotten her face and her breast area drawn before I was going to cover her, like I normally do with all my artwork. But instead, afterward today, when they had me do the discharge papers, I went ahead and scribbled in some nipples in there with some milk dripping out of it and blood dripping out of her naked body, her vagina, and she was big and pregnant. And I placed an angel's wing on the other side of the artwork and signed it. It's got my signature on it. So, I pray for everybody involved, especially the men involved in all of this, and especially the judicials that are trying to state that I need to be reprimanded more, when in actuality it should be the men in these circumstances. They get heightened and aggressive and violate other people's bodies. So they look at me like I'm deranged, like I need help. And in actuality, it's like, oh my God, are you serious? So you can violate someone else physically, sexually, and gaslight us and everything and tell us that we're gonna get help. So I'm an hour away from my belongings, an hour away from my vehicle. I had informed them, hey, I don't know about going all the way up for an hour away. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get back, the finances to get back. I explained everything. I was actually very genuine about it. I told them, I said, I don't know if I should go, but they reassured me they were going to make sure that I wouldn't walk on the streets after leaving. But they don't care. The systems do not care about people individually. They gaslight you. They will tell you all these lies about where, we're going to help you, we're going to have suitable housing for you. No, and it was the psychiatrist there at National Park Medical Center that in the labor and delivery, he came over and he was the one that coerced me into going up here. So now I'm an hour away from my belongings, and I'm going to have to find my way down there. So I guess I'm just going to have to, hey, I need a ride. Let's hitchhike. And who cares? It doesn't matter, because apparently I'm not that mentally ill to where I can't recognize things, when in actuality, I even had a panic attack in here. And when I have my panic attacks, I can see sometimes, or I can, when I'm waking up slowly, And one of the nurses actually grabbed my legs because it was time to do vitals. She came in there, forcibly grabbed my feet, tried to shove me off onto the floor, and then and I didn't move because I couldn't move. My muscles they sort of atrophy or whatever that is. And it's not really true atrophication, but the fact of it is that I can't move, I can't feel, I can barely see or sense what's going on because of all the stress, because of I'm panicking. I don't know why they would presume that I'm okay enough to just be like wandering around, and they didn't offer me any semblance of peace. This morning I went to yesterday I was speaking to them. I had to wake up, and I only had approximately 4 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep prior to engaging with these fools that were in this room. They said that they were my team of helpers, and the social worker was there, and all these other people, and these fools, they tried to tell me, and I tried to explain my story, and they said, we don't need to hear all that. We need to know what we can help you with. I said, well, housing. They told me I would be able to get housing so that I wouldn't have to be on the streets after this. And they were like, okay, we can do that. What did they do? Offer me the lists of things because they don't feel like a disabled individual, a disabled U.S. citizen should have individualized attention or care. That's how they treat me. That's how they treat people. Because we're not individuals, we're numbers to these people. We're numbers, and everything that we do is just part of their system, to the point where it's like, they even offered a monitor for the baby right now. They monitored the baby prior to me leaving to see how the baby was doing, and she was trying to ask me questions, the nurse that was doing it, and I told her this is a rape baby. She was like, oh, do you have any other kids? I was like, yeah, I haven't seen her for 6 years. Like, how is it that they dredge up all of my trauma constantly and assume that I'm just going to be okay? You just presume I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, logical. Let me be logical, right? Let me go off and do all this appropriated stuff. Let me make these phone calls and talk about it a million times to all of these shelters. And then they end up rejecting me anyway because there's no room for someone. There's no room for the baby and I. So anyway, back to the situation. They were monitoring me prior to leaving, and I told her, I said, I don't even know why they're going through that effort if they're just going to place me back out on the streets. I mean, you're going to monitor and make sure the child's okay, and then turn around and just state at one point, oh my God, Leticia's the one that harmed the baby. No, it was the copious amounts of stress that I've been placed under because of all this gaslighting and lying by the systems. So I tried to explain to people, like, I'm not going to shut up about it. I just don't care. I would rather be dead. So do your worst. Do your worst. Because I just sit there and smile at you, don't I? I'll go through seizures, yeah, but who cares? It doesn't matter. My life doesn't matter to you people, and I get that. I understand that. Neither does the baby inside of me. So what did you do? You wanted to make sure to get plenty of money, and then you used that monitor on me so that you could charge it to my insurance. It's always about that, isn't it? Charges, about, getting everything, the actual money that you need to sustain your facilities. And how tainted is that? How disgustingly perverse is that they knew? And even the nurse didn't want to let me go right now, but she had no control over it. She was so disheartened by the whole situation. And I thought, well, it's none of my business. It is not my fault that they placed me in these circumstances. It's not my fault that I was raped. It's not my fault that the man didn't own up to what he had done and step in to try to help me. It's not my fault. And so if anything happens to me, you can thank the U.S. government, and you can go ahead and talk to the people, the authorities about this, because they're the ones that place me in these dangerous situations, placing me back in with my mother, who had my brother around, who's the felon. And then everyone told me, they're like, no, we're going to be there to help. You lied. The officer told me they were going to help me. You lied. Do not tell people that you're going to help them when in actuality all you're going to do is hurt them and turn around and cause them to have more charges because they didn't follow through. How am I supposed to follow through when my brain is going a million miles a minute wondering why you keep doing this shit to me? I just don't care. I don't love you people like that because you don't love me like that. And so why should I respect you when you don't respect me? It makes no goddamn sense. I don't give a shit. People are like, you're biting the hand that feeds you. Good. good. You need to know, you need to understand that we're caged animals and you're not letting us out to, to regulate ourselves properly because it's your fault, not mine. Because I placed plenty of efforts in years ago when I was working, going to school, and you allowed my ex-husband to rip my child away from me under a bunch of falsified documents and shit that weren't even signed by me. So, okay, go for it. Go ahead and state whatever you need to state. But like I've told everyone prior, I should be suing the state and the entire freaking US, I would say. I mean, after all of this, I've tried to reach out, all the sexual trauma I've had due to like the doctors, due to the orderlies, due to the officer that, forced me into the fellatio, all of it. So here I am just chilling, just waiting for them to come and pick me up and throw me in jail because they put that warrant out for that revocation of the bond. So what do I care? I don't really care. I mean, at this point, I understand they're going to rip my child away. I get that. I'm not stupid. And after all that I've struggled through, after all I did to care for this child properly, after all the things that I avoided, everything that I could have been doing, there's substance abuse up there that I noticed, and they allow them to keep their babies. Like, it makes no sense. I'm an actual good mother when I have the calm, when I have the resources to do so, and I've got the place, and I'm calm, and I've got everything I know and love around me. So then I realized too, they had sent home 2 homeless people too, and they didn't send them home. They just, dispatched them onto the streets prior to dispatching me on the streets as well. So regardless of being 34 weeks pregnant. So I thought that I was going to get a little bit more than all these other people, because the fact that I've got a baby, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with it. But I don't really care. I really don't care. At this point, I already know that they're really fucked up in the brain, and they're going to hurt me anyway. And that's all the people, the authorities, the government, everything, they're fucked up in the brains. Like, if you think that this is actual justice, if you think that this is, upholding my constitutional rights, then you need help. More help than I do. You need to be confined worse than I do, and you need your testicles removed, because generally it's a bunch of men that are causing this to happen because they don't want their side to be exposed. So yeah, I'm kind of stressing right now because I know that you guys don't care what I have to say. You want to just shut me up, and that's why these videos are out there, because they're the God honest truth. And I'll have, I even wrote down on the sheet this morning, may God have mercy on the souls of man, because that's exactly what it is. You men are sick as fuck. Sick, sick, sick. And just because I think this way, oh, you want to kill me for that. You want to make sure I suffer more. You want to make sure that I get my children ripped away from me. Oh, you want to use my body because that's sex trafficking, that's human trafficking, and also a breeding program. Oh my God, that's so weird. Even all the things that I have to disclose about what I had seen in the psychiatric facility right now, all the stories and everything that I have to disclose of the women, but no, you want to keep fucking with me. We'll see how this goes for you people, okay? And how well it goes when you're about to pass over and all the karma comes rushing back at you all at once. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys don't place the effort, so why should any of us place the effort? I finally rinsed off after, I haven't showered for like a week or so. I haven't brushed my teeth. Like, I brushed them like one time. So I'm just like, whatever. Why should I care? Why should I care about my body if you're just using my body to have children? There was a lady in there too. She was 25 years old. She had had 2 different pregnancies prior. One was a set of twins that was 4 years ago, and then the other was a like a little girl, I think, 8 years ago. So she was artificially inseminated. And then the secondary time, she willingly had sex with the husband of a lady, I guess. And so those were twins, her twins or whatever. And she got paid $10,000 per baby. So everybody told me, they're like, you can get $10,000 for your baby. And I say, you can shove that shit up your ass, because I'm not going after the devil. I'm not after money. I'm after love. I'm after justice, true justice. So Then she had no teeth. She had like missing teeth. They're all black. You could smell her from a distance. You could smell, all of that area. You know what I'm saying? It was bad. So I thought, oh my God, they're really fucking with you. Like, you're in a psych ward and everything, and you made these mistakes. I didn't make those mistakes. I kept praying every time, like even right now, praying for my husband to come and pick me up. Like, and I even told last night when I tried to get out of there, I told them that I was just gonna have my fiance come and get me. And they were like, well, can we call him? No. And they even asked me a bunch of questions, and I was just like, no. Because you should have known I fabricated the fucking guy. I mean, obviously I don't have one, and I'm not stupid. I'm sensible enough to understand things, but when I'm in a traumatic situation like this and everything, of course I have my seizures. Of course I have my panic attacks. Of course I talk back. Of course I'm gonna violate you, verbally accost you because of the fact that you're physically and sexually, psychologically abusing, detaining, all of these things. So, yeah, I am about to head over to the bus stop. I have no idea where the hell I'm gonna go. I don't know where the nearest bank is either, so I can overdraft, so I can get some money or whatever. I need to go find some weed. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I'm gonna set up like some type of dating app right now. So if anybody wants to meet up with me or something, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you want to meet up and we can, I'll give you some sex. Okay, I'll give you my body. The U.S. government doesn't care about my body, and why should I then? So, and they're military men. Shit, I don't even care. I'm gonna try to contact somebody right now to see if there's anywhere else I can go, but honestly, I have nobody. Honestly, I have nobody and nothing. So, and somebody said, like, well, and then this social worker, this dumb bitch, let me tell you. She's like, well, don't you have any family to come and get you? Bitch, don't you see my record? Did you not read my record? And I told her, I laughed in her face, and I said, if you would have heard the phone conversation that I had with my mother, the way that she was reprimanding me, said that Dr. Carroll didn't do anything to help me the last few years, that I haven't gotten better, when in actuality there's physical proof of that, because I lost all the weight, I maintained on my own, I was living out of my vehicle, I was celibate, I was doing fine, I was, managing my money well, until this pregnancy, until this forced pregnancy. And so there's plenty of proof out there that states, and one of the girls even told me, she's like, oh, it's your first felony offense. They're probably just going to give you probation. I said, fuck that. The fuck with that. That is not justice. That is not honorable in God's eyes or anybody's eyes, because I didn't do it. I didn't fucking falsify that. So regardless of even my terminology, the fact that I'm flustered and heightened right now, that's just how it goes. Oh, and I told you, right, that I did in the picture that I made, she was going like this, and blood was coming out of her, and milk. So, and that's so symbolic of what I'm going through. It's just a depiction of how I feel about my personal circumstances. So now I've got to go walk over to the bus stop. I see it happen. It seems like the bus comes every 15 minutes. No one cares about me. I understand that. I don't care about you people either. Like, I do, but I don't. And I'm actually so nice. Like, I shouldn't be going through this. And I tell everyone, I'm like, I have the best, the best reactions to these things. I was making some of the girls laugh about my personal story. It's just when I relay this stuff, you're all fucked. I can feel the vibration and frequency from the phone right now, too. I can feel it. So stop fucking with me. Stop. I don't need to be altered in any way. I don't need any of your bullshit. I just want to be free. I just want to be free. You and your electronics everywhere. Watch. I'll get my fucking shit, and then I'll end up, which I can't even get my shit, which is the most fucked up thing, because at first they said that they weren't going to arrest me. They knew about the warrants. But watch me go back to my fucking car, and that's the first goddamn thing they're going to want to do. Because my mother even said, we're going to have a sheriff on hand when you come and pick up your stuff. And I said, well, thank God, because, well, and I say thank God, but I can't trust them either. So who am I to trust? No one but God. And all these people are apparently ungodly. So I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. Like, this is what I look like right now. If anybody wants to get some free pussy for some weed, then here we go. Like, that's the exchange. Like, I just want to smoke, rest, and we can fornicate all you want. All you want. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of this. I don't care about my body anymore. Like I said prior, it's getting worse. It's getting so much worse. And everybody's like, well, that stay in the... They don't help you. They're not helping you solve your problems. They're helping you shadow your problems and cover them up by forcing you on pharmaceuticals, making you believe that it's going to get better. It doesn't get better unless they actually step in and do some work for you. What in the fuck were those two social workers doing when they could have just... And they're going to sit around and chat behind the desk instead of, why don't you make the phone calls for me? Why? You've got plenty of fucking time. You're getting paid the big bucks. You're getting paid way more than me to do all the work to help disabled citizens. And here I am, still wondering what's going on. Why am I being abused in this way? Why am I the one being pinpointed as the issue, targeted as the issue, when in actuality it's the U.S. government and all their officials and all their military men? So, the father of this child, what a piece of shit. Pathetic, that's what he is. And I actually was making videos prior to being forced into this place, and I was stating how much I loved and cared about him because I didn't want anything to happen to him. Like, that's how my personality is. So as soon as I smoke, I'm going to be fine. As soon as I, get my proper medication instead of them. And then they even ask me, are you sure you don't want any medication? Yes, bitch. Put me on some fucking Xannies right now while I'm fucking 34 weeks pregnant. That's exactly what I want, bitch. Bitch. Stupid cunts. So, yeah. I really don't know what's wrong with people. Like, why would you even ask me if I wanted pharmaceuticals when I just told you my fucking story about how I was on them and it made me so much worse? And then when I got off of them, then I actually regulated my life properly and was able to maintain through diet and exercise and smoking medicinal marijuana. These stories are relevant for the future because you understand that men can't rule anymore, right? Because they're doing so many toxic things. There should be way more women in office because they don't understand a woman's body, and that's why they removed abortion? No. That's a ploy to get us to breed for the United States so that there's no other way but everybody's forced to have these kids that they don't want, and then they're going to abuse them, then they're going to kill them off. The one lady was in there because she threatened to hurt her baby, her son. And she said, I'm suffering through postpartum, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, girl, like, I feel for you. Like, my mom had that, and she had that with me. And then she came around and told me, I wish you were dead. She says that shit all the time. And people think I'm safe with her. People think that I'm safe at these homeless shelters. People think that I'm safe. Where do you think I'm going to be safe? No, and then everybody's, I feel bad. I wish but they don't step in personally to do it. No. Because we're not individuals to these people. We are our classifications. We are those criminal records. We are those educational records. We are those medical records. That's all they see. That's all they fucking see. So now I've got to go pick up the paperwork. See, today's the 21st. My birthday's the 28th. So I've got a week before I end up being fucked up anyway. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? It's not like I'm going to get a cake and candles. No, I'm probably going to be behind bars because they want me to show up at that court proceeding on the 25th. And they already have that warrant because they revoked the bond. And I'm like, no, why don't you sit in my place? Why doesn't the father sit in my place when it's his fault that I'm pregnant right now? It's his fault that I filed a report. I would have never filed a report had there not been a child involved. It is this child that you should be worried about. I'm not even worried about myself. Like, I wish I had a ring on my finger to produce this child, but I'm not going to seek that out. That's sick and distorted. I never sought money. I never sought any of that. I wanted a relationship prior to getting pregnant. All of my videos, everything I clarify, that's not fake. These are my raw fucking emotions. This is why I wanted to expose what real mental disorders are and what true distorted mental illness is. I may be mentally unstable at times due to my fragility and trauma, due to the trauma. But I am not so mentally ill and so psychotic that I would harm another person or force my opinions on somebody or to try to force them into altering their reality. I don't know what's wrong with you people. You need to get a life. Like, honestly, you need to get lives, because there's nothing right with any of this. And you guys sit there and make these bash videos, and you make all this commentary, and then you make my mother believe that she's in the right. You make all these deranged people believe that they're in the right. But do you understand, it doesn't matter the mass of people that you sway, the stupid idiots the sheep that you sway, because there are some of us lionesses out here that are going to tear you the fuck apart. Not even in this realm, but in the spiritual one. So you need to understand where the fuck you're dealing with, what the fuck you're dealing with, because that's why I'm so lighthearted right now. That's why, because I still have optimism for myself. I know I'm going to suffer. Everyone suffers. But I still have optimism for all of it. And if this child is ripped away from me, that's on you, people. That's totally on you. Because I didn't do shit wrong. And I should be allowed to be a mother. I should be allowed to carry this child. I did all the work. Why is someone else going to have to, you know what I'm saying? Why would I want to see anybody else raise my children? And yet it's been 6 years since I've seen my daughter. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. You should. Because here I am, I'm not a little crackhead, but they don't care. They're like, oh, substance abuse, whatever, marijuana. No, that's not substance abuse. That is a medicine that has helped me through all of this. So now I've got to go find somebody's dick to suck so that I can get some fucking weed. And I just don't know. I just don't understand it. And I'm trying so goddamn hard. I'm trying so hard to appropriate myself in these circumstances and to be a lady. But apparently I'm just a lady of the night, especially since what he had done to me. And that's all he made it out to be. He gave me $50 for gas, and I can't even. Apparently I'm a $50 slut, a $50 whore. I'm so sick. I feel so sick. Like, for him, like, I feel sorry for his soul, because he's going straight to fucking hell. And I feel sorry for you people. Like, I don't know what you think you're gonna do, because you're talking about trying to go to war with other countries about the way they mistreat their women, and yet you're doing the same thing here in your country, only worse. So yeah, because you have the means to track them, you have the means to find them, you have the means to pick out which one you want to abuse, and then you just run off with your wives. That's sick. You need to understand how deranged that is. And I feel sorry for you people. I feel sorry for the women that you abuse. And I'm one of them. And I'm like, oh my God, well, whatever. I don't feel sorry for myself. I know I'm strong, much stronger than your wives. So, yeah, that's hilarious to me. You people are sick. So, yeah, anyway. And people don't like to hear me talk like this. They're like, oh my God, but they're using the words of God to regulate people and everything, and that's blasphemous. You're using God's name in vain. You are. You're trying to persuade people into believing your nonsense, and in actuality, God is in all of us. God is both man and woman, everything all in one. And you need to realize, when a woman speaks up, she's not trying to speak up to just manipulate a situation. Maybe she's sticking up for her own rights and her own justice and her own being and her own perception of God. So yeah, you people are sick. If it weren't for us, and one of the girls had told me, she's like, they're lesser of the species because we have both X chromosomes and they have an X and Y, which the Y is a removal of the segment of the X. So actually they are beneath us. The men are beneath us, and I didn't even think about that. Oh my God, you're right, the Y. And I said, looking like a penis, and how they are, So that's what's wrong with them. They're missing a fragment of their chromosome. That's why they can't regulate their bodies and minds in the way that a woman can. It makes perfect sense. And I was like, oh my God, we should feel sorry for them. But I'm not going to let you abuse me. I'm not going to let my brother beat the shit out of me and then turn around and have him persuade my mother and everything and everyone else into believing that he's not a violent criminal, when in actuality he is. And I saw all the times when he would come back fucked up from Dewey Farmer's place, my former stepdad that my mom was married to, and they do drugs over there all the fucking time and shit. I saw when he would come up with his glazed eyes and all red and bloodshot and everything, and all acting weird and fidgety, and then sometimes all tired and whatnot. No, there's something wrong, and it's not me. It is not me or people like me. So I think that you guys need some help. You need to look into why you gaslight people, why you manipulate women into believing that you're going to actually help them, and in the long run you don't. Like, I need a stable place. I've already been forced into becoming a mother, so I've got that chemical change in my physiological change in my brain and everything. So all I want to do is nurture. All I want to do is just sit around and take care of my Tootsie and take care of my new baby and to just, be at peace. But instead, I'm constantly being violated still. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why the cycle won't end. I've been preaching about it now. I've told you now. Before I didn't, I kept my mouth shut. I thought I would get better when I opened my mouth. You told me it was going to be safe. The female officer that picked me up the other day, she said, if anybody hurts you, it's okay to speak out. And I'm trying.